keep walking.
That's right.
Just keep walking.
Yeah, that's it, kid, that's it.
Third warning.
So I'm going to review the movie The Long Walk while going on a long walk. I don't know, it felt appropriate for some reason. The weather's really nice. It's fall now. Got that cool breeze in the air. Something about it just seems enjoyable. Also, I didn't feel right sitting in a chair talking about this movie after watching what these characters went through. I feel like I need to somewhat walk in their shoes, except I'm probably only going to go like half a mile and not, hundreds of miles. Anyways, The Long Walk is based on a Stephen King story, and I love a lot of Stephen King stories. I've read a lot of his books, love a lot of his movies, but I've never heard of this one. Honestly, I never read the original Long Walk, so I went in completely blind. And originally, I was mostly going to wait for streaming for this movie, just because it was a little bit out of the way to go see. But I kept hearing that it was such a important and emotionally devastating film that it really won me over. I would say with this one, the word of mouth won me over more than anything else. And the hype is real. The hype is real with this one. Look, it may seem like an incredibly simple premise, and it is, but that's because it allows you to get so invested with the small group of characters that are presented in the movie and their backstories and the things that they go through, the bonds that they create. Basically, the premise of the movie is it's some sort of a dystopian version of the US that may very well happen into our future. It actually reminded me a little bit, at least in the beginning, a little bit of like Battle Royale, or maybe even The Hunger Games, which has the same director, where, a group of characters are kind of forced into a situation where they have to survive. It's like this yearly event, or every so often, one person from every state gets a chance to basically change their life and change the world for the better if they so choose to. It's a world where the poor are obviously subjugated and stepped on by the rich elites of the world, and hey, maybe it's not too far off after all, but they get a chance. So everyone signs up for this long walk where they are able to go to an event where they all walk in a straight line, and it goes on and on until there's only one person left. And for every person that goes below 3 miles per hour, which actually is relatively difficult if you're going for a long period of time. If I'm walking at 3 mile per hour pace, probably takes like 20 minutes to walk a mile. And I was just thinking about that in my head while watching the movie, and they're going up hills, and it's nuts. Anyways, so basically, you have to maintain a 3 mile per hour pace, and you get 3 warnings if you go below it. You get 1 warning, got 10 seconds, get a second warning, got 10 more seconds, third warning, you get shot in the head. And it goes on and on. There's no ending point until only one character is left. And they win. Their life has changed forever. They get a shit ton of money. They get one wish, whatever they want, and their whole life has changed forever. And people are so desperate and poor and starving and struggling and having such a difficult time that even the prospect of a 1 in 50 chance of becoming, multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever it is worth the threat of death. And I I'm just thinking about that concept and how difficult it really is for so many people. How difficult it is for me, and then how difficult it is for people that have it way worse off than me. And you think about the desperate things that people do in order to just try to have something in life, to just be able to live comfortably or live a little bit more freely or not have to struggle every single day, and it's like, is that worth it? And in this movie it is for these characters. The other thing that I thought was really great about it was that when you have all these characters walking together, that there's only going to be one winner. Only one person is going to survive to the end. And it's not like they quit. If they try to run off the path, if they try to escape, they get killed. They're followed by 3 trucks, one in front of them, one behind them, one in the middle. And they're not allowed to stop. Not allowed to stop walking, not allowed to go off the path, not allowed to slow down. And if they are, they're just shot and killed. So you would think, they are all against each other, right? You would think that all of the characters are secretly hoping that somebody else fails so that they can have a better chance at succeeding. what touched me the most about the movie is the camaraderie that happened here. You know, it really is like they're war buddies going through this experience together. And friendships are formed. Obviously not everybody. Like, some people are assholes. That's life. But a large majority of these characters really grow strong friendships with each other. They're motivating each other. They're pushing each other. When one of them falls down out of exhaustion, they pick them up and have them keep walking. And it just got me thinking about the world and like how, bear with me a second, maybe conspiracy theorist here, I don't know, but how the rich elite just loves when poor people are fighting amongst themselves, because when they're fighting amongst themselves, they're not paying attention, or they're not being able to rise up and do something about it, you know? It's like, we want them fighting so that we can continue doing our thing up here. But what I found so interesting about the movie is that these people weren't fighting each other, and they literally are in a competition where only one of them can survive. Everyone's gonna die except for one person, but nobody wants each other to die. They're picking each other up, they're pushing them forward, they're motivating them, they're trying to get them not to think about terrible things. And that really touched me. I don't know, I guess I can't really express it in words the way that I want to, but there was something about that, something about the idea of like, oh, all these people are in this competition, only one survivor of the fittest, survivor of the strongest. But it's not like that for them. That's how the rich elite are thinking. That's how the people that control everything are thinking. They're thinking, yes, you know, and you have Mark Hamill, you know, as like the main general character, and he's like, that's it, boys, struggle, get to the front, you know, you can, you know, he's just, he's pushing them to fight back against everything else and to just go forward themselves. But they're not in it for themselves. I mean, they are, but like, they're in it together. They're in it as a group. They're in it as a unit. It's not one man against all. It's all of us against them. And that's something that I thought was really, really genuinely special about the movie. Now, on top of that, there's all these different struggles that happen in it too. Like, it's not just about walking forward and maintaining a speed. You can't sleep. And some characters do kind of sleep. They kind of like drift in and out of a daze. Some characters lean on each other. As long as you're walking the speed, you're allowed to lean on somebody. So if you keep up the speed, you can lean. But they have to eat on the go, and they have to go to the bathroom on the go. Like, literally, minor spoiler, but there's a character that has to take a shit. And if you can't take a shit in 30 seconds, you die. So, like, you either shit your pants or you get it done in 30 seconds. That's all you can do. And what would be darkly comedic in another movie, in this one, just becomes disturbing and sad. And all of the violence in the film is very realistic. It is very gory. And I was thinking about that too. Like, in any other kind of horror movie, the gore would be something you would think was awesome and you would cheer for. But when the gore happens in this movie, you don't want it to happen. You don't want to see it. There's another thing I wanted to say too, is that it's not touched on very much in the movie because, like I said, the movie all takes place with these characters walking, but through conversation you get context and a little bit of flashback here and there. It is said that a lot of art, a lot of music, and a lot of freedom of expression is outlawed. It's banned. It's not allowed to exist. And that got me thinking too, because I do think, only speaking from somebody that lives in the US, I do think one of the most important things that we have here is freedom of expression, freedom of speech, being able to create art, being able to create things that make people perhaps uncomfortable, or being able to talk about things through the creation of storytelling, or a song, lyrics, a painting, a comic, you know, whatever you want to, whatever your medium of choice is. I've always been somebody that's said that art is important. You know, it's not mathematics that helps us discover how things work, and it's not you know, necessarily as academic as some other things, but I do think it's important for the human experience. I think storytelling is important, not just because of entertainment, but I think that it gives us other things to think about, other things to question, seeing other people's points of view that maybe we wouldn't have come to ourselves. Storytelling, movies, TV shows, they can inspire us, they can motivate us, they can have us think about things differently, they can have us want to tell our own stories. There are so many benefits to art, there are so many benefits to storytelling, and to believe that it could be possible that there's a world out there that would ban that censor that, to not allow freedom of expression, to not allow people to think and say things openly. That to me is also a terrifying world, but also one that I fear like could potentially happen someday, you know? Now the two lead characters, there's lots of main characters here, but one is played by, sorry, I'm out and about, so I can't like pull up and fact check. I guess I could take out my phone, but one of them is played by Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, and he is shaping up to be just as great of an actor as his dad was. He was amazing. And the other one is the actor that played Andy in Alien Romulus. Incredible. He's incredible. He's incredible in Romulus, but in this movie, he's next level. And I could see in like 10 to 20 years, this guy being one of the all-time greats. Imagine it's extremely difficult to film as well, because obviously they're walking the entire film. So I can't imagine how that was like, because you think just walking, yeah, okay, but that's the whole movie. And imagine how many takes they have to do. They're not just walking, they're acting while walking. They're trying to memorize dialogue. They're trying to portray deep, complex emotions while maintaining this pace. So I give credit to all the actors in this movie. The whole film, you know everybody is gonna die, at least except for one person. You know this, they know this, but they wanna keep each other going so bad that it's like they're not even thinking about it. They're gonna be walking while helping each other out, while everybody above them just wishes they would fail, because it's all entertainment. The whole thing is televised. It's like I said, it's like Battle Royale or the Hunger Games or something. It's like the Running Man. It's all for the entertainment of others, but for them, that's their real life. And I do think about that in the larger scope of the world, of how things are controlled and how we have to struggle so hard just to get by. And I felt that. Anyways, I don't really want to spoil this one. I don't really want to talk about the ending. I would say the ending is not quite as predictable as you'd think it would be. There's a moment where like I called what was going to happen right before it did. But before that moment, it really does feel like anything could happen. It really does. Anybody could go at any time. And any kind of way out of the situation you could think of, somebody does try. So like basically all the T's are crossed, all the I's are dotted. Like anything you could think of for this situation is pretty much covered in this movie. And I do think maybe it's like a little bit too relevant to things happening right now with how violent and chaotic the world is. You know, I live in the USA and it's pretty crazy here, but it's a lot crazier in other places right now. And it makes you think of stuff like this, like a movie that's so fictional, like, oh, you know, there would never be a dystopian society that makes poor people walk for miles and miles until they all die. It's like, well, who knows what could happen, man. There's a lot of things that have happened in life that we didn't think could. So anyways, basically what I'm gonna say is that I highly recommend this movie. I think it's great. It is an emotional journey though. Some parts can be pretty rough, and it does a great job at making a movie that's all one thing. The whole film is just characters walking, and makes it incredibly compelling and inspiring, I think. Just like it inspired me to go out and walk today. I do walk normally, but I just, after watching that film, I didn't feel right talking about it unless I went on a walk myself. So let me know what you guys think about it down below. It's one of my favorites of the year. I don't know where it would rank, but it's definitely gonna be in the top 10. Incredible movie, guys. So if you've seen it, let me know what you think about it down below. What'd you think about the story, the themes, the characters, and anything else you want to say about it. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a thumbs up, comment, help it out in the algorithm, and I'll talk to you after the walk.